ticket by selling a
feel
ring
you,
for
bro.
$40 to a local pawn shop. This, in conjunction with the time he'd spent in jail for cashing invalid checks, highlighted William Post's awful money management skills and acted as foreshadowing for how poorly his lottery win was eventually going to be spent. Only 84 days after receiving the $16.2 million, William Post had spent the entire fortune on a boat, a lease for a restaurant in Florida, a used car lot, as well as a private jet.
Let me just make sure everything's looking clear. Alright, I look good. Okay. Alright.
However, even after all of the money had been spent, for $2 million, William Post had spent the entire fortune on a boat, a lease for a restaurant in Florida, a used car lot, as well as a private jet. However, even after all of the money had been spent, Post took on a further $500,000 loan to purchase a mansion in Florida, a used in. William Post had spent the entire fortune on a boat, a lease for a restaurant in Florida, a used car lot, as well as a private jet. However,
why would you buy a private jet? I'm not buying a private jet. Like, I feel like that'll be a waste of the money to do that. Cause it's like, what do you need that for, bro? I just get first class on everything. I don't gotta be too posh. You know what I mean? I don't know. But I've also heard that, like, you gotta watch out for people to, like, rob, kidnap you or something like that. Cause people be on the lottery winners like that. They be on it.
But even after all of the money had been spent, Post took on a further $500,000 loan to purchase a mansion in Oil City, Pennsylvania. The problem was that William hadn't actually purchased the original ticket himself and had rather given the money to his girlfriend who had bought the winning ticket for him. Because of this, she was able to successfully sue him for 1/3 of the winnings, meaning that Post now owed $5.4 million to his ex-girlfriend from the $16.2 million that he no longer had. Since Post was unable to make this payment, the judge ordered that his bank account be frozen until he was able to come up with the money. However, before he was able to sell enough stuff to pay the $5.4 million, William was arrested and ordered to serve a 6 to 24 month prison term for an assault charge from 6 years prior. Toward the end of his life, Post was on his 7th marriage with over $1 million in debt and was getting by on food stamps at a job paying $450 per month. However, William Post still doesn't have the craziest lottery win story.